Okay, it is 12:32, and we are going to get started here on January 19th. That should be 2022 already, on mid-year student course withdrawal and custom course credit. I apologize for sounding a bit under the weather, but I'm wearing a mask, so I won't infect any of you. My name is Jake Vanskoy. I have over 15 years of educational experience, and I am joined by Brett Joyce, who is our head of client services at JMC. He's a former teacher, principal, and superintendent in Minnesota. You want to say hi, Brett?
Hello, everybody. I don't know, man, Jake. It's a cold day. It's good to be inside, and good thing the internet can function when it's so cold outside.
Sure is, and it's only going to get colder the rest of this week, I think. Today we're taking you through this should be a pretty short and simple, straightforward webinar, but it's an important process, dropping students and assigning credits when they don't necessarily match the original course credit. Um, this very well could happen in the middle of a year if a student drops a class or has to withdraw for whatever reason. We're going to take a look at what happens when we have a student withdraw from a course in the middle of the year. And then I'll show you how to assign a custom credit. So if a student received partial credit for a course, or maybe they were there for half the term and you want them to get credit for half that term, well, I'll show you how to override that with a couple features here in JMC. So we've got the Q&A feature, and Brett will be keeping an eye on that Q&A feature. So please, if you have any questions or even any comments, we're a community of learners here. And one of the great things about these webinars is it brings folks together. Our goal, our mission at JMC is to help make your lives easier. So any bits of wisdom we can share with each other that helps make each other's lives easier would be greatly appreciated. And if you are ever interested in being a panelist on one of these weekly webinars, please feel free to reach out to myself or Brett, Jake at jmcinc.com, and we would love to have you. We love to hear wisdom from all over the place. So take you right into mid-year student course withdrawal. So a student may need to be withdrawn from a course for a variety of reasons, such as if they're transferring out of your school or if they're changing from a class to a different class in the middle of a term. Uh, when doing so, we can record that withdrawal in JMC office to keep that student schedule up to date and update teachers' attendance and grading rosters and all that fun stuff. So, to take you through a look at this, to withdraw a student from a course, you're going to head to Schedules, Student, Edit Schedules, and this is in JMC Office. Step one, you're going to select the student to be edited by entering their name in the find field. So you'll find that student. Step two, you'll click the student section details and overrides quick link to open up the student section details and overrides pop up. So that's in the bottom right hand corner. It can be kind of hidden, kind of tricky to find. So if we had a student that was, say, in Algebra 2, they got halfway through the term and thought, you know what, I should really be in Algebra 1 instead of Algebra 2. We find that student, we click that link, schedule section details and overrides in the bottom right hand corner, and this pop-up will appear. Step three, we find the course in this list right here and click that edit link on the left hand side, and we'll get some access to some different course data. So if a student is withdrawing from the course, um, we would enter the date that the course started in this start field, and it's going to default to the first day of the semester, and the end course override date is going to default to the last day in the semester. And if this happens to be a date prior to that last day of the semester, we would simply enter that date in that field right there. Helpful tip, we can click the default to button, I'm sorry, the default to, and it will take you right to the last day of the term or the first day of the term. Step five, we click the update link to withdraw the student successfully. So that finishes us up. And you might get an alert or a pop-up saying, do you wish to confirm this withdrawal? You click the OK button, and it will override that student's schedule. There will be an asterisk that will appear next to that student's entry, that course entry in a student schedule, to let you know that the student has been withdrawn from the course. So let's take a live look at the mid-year course withdrawal. So I'm just going to reorient myself. I'm in JMC office, and I'm going to go to schedules, student, edit schedules. I'm going to find the student using that find either the drop down feature, or it's going to help if I have a student that has a schedule, an entry. There we go. So I can enter that student's name in that find field. I'm going to click that student section details and overrides, and my course list, my list of courses pops up right here. And let's say the student is dropping bowling, or dropped a bowling ball on his toe. Not going to be able to participate the rest of the try, or the rest of the semester in this case. So what we're going to do is set the start date. Yep, they started on that day, and they didn't make it all the way to 12/20/21. So I'm going to enter, let's say they made it to October 10th, 10/10/2021. I enter that. I click the update link. It's going to say, by entering both the start and end date, you have withdrawn the student from the course. Yes. Click OK. And I've got my course start date and end date overrides. Now I could do this if, say, a student started later in the term. I could edit that start date as well. I'm going to click close, and you can notice, I'm going to try to make that a little bit bigger for you, maybe if I can. Yeah, maybe I can't. You'll see the stars or the asterisks next to the course that we overrode. So that is when you have to drop or withdraw a student from a course. Do we have any questions popping up there, Brett?
You're good, Jake.
Okay, again, if you have any questions, please feel free to use that Q&A feature. Moving right along. Now, the next aspect of this would be assigning custom course credit. So if a student, let's say you have your courses set up to 1 semester equals 1 credit, and the student didn't make it a full semester, they made it a quarter. So we want to give that student half a credit. They earned their half credit because they completed the quarter, but they didn't earn the full credit. So along with withdrawing the student, we also need to adjust the credits. So Brett, I see a question did pop up.
Yeah, Jake, we've got one question here. Beth asks, will this remove them from the teacher's attendance and grade book list?
Yes, it will. That's the absolute purpose of this, is to remove that student from those teacher grade books. So excellent question, and yes, it will. So now we're getting into assigning custom course credit. So a student may need to be withdrawn from a course, causing a need for us to override or decrease the amount of credit that was attempted and earned for the student. JMC Office allows you to enter a number of credits for a particular student that they can receive for the course that they're enrolling in or withdrawing from. So again, we're going to head right back to that same place that we just were, schedules, student, edit schedules. We're going to enter our student's name in that find drop-down list. And then we're going to click that same link, that schedules section details and overrides link. Step 3, we're going to click that edit link, and you'll notice there are 2 categories right here, 2 columns for credits earned override, credits attempted override. So we would just enter the values in the credits earned override field and the credits attempted override field. So probably the biggest note here would be, if this student for semester 1, if this is normally a 1 credit class, like you see, the student had to withdraw at quarter. So they only earned a half of credit. So it's a 0.5 a credit. Now, that student also only attempted a 0.5 of a credit if they withdraw from the course prior to the start of the second quarter. So what we're saying here is they earned this many credits out of this many credits attempted. So we can adjust both of those fields so it doesn't look like this student would have to recover a credit or that they missed a credit for, say, failing a class. So that's kind of the function of the credits earned override versus the credits attempted override. Same thing if they maybe passed the first semester, failed the second semester, we have to, this would be a 0.5, they earned a 0.5, and they attempted a full credit. Click that update link to save your changes. And let's take a live look at that. I'm gonna head back into, I'm gonna have to remember John Freed. So I'm gonna head back to JMC office. Just to orient myself, we're going to schedules, student, edit schedules. John Freed, my student, pops up. We've got bowling. That student dropped bowling. Let's say they dropped it at the quarter. They received a grade for the quarter. If I click this student section details and overrides link down here, I select edit in that bowling. The semester course is a 1 credit course. So this student actually only earned a half a credit. So I just enter my 0.5 in both of those fields right there and click update. And it's alerting me that you're withdrawing a student from this course. We're overriding credits. I click OK. And now on that student's transcript and on credit checker and things of that nature, we're going to see that this student has earned a half a credit for this course as opposed to a full credit for that course. Of course, I wouldn't show up right away. I'd have to bring my transcripts up to date in order for that to show. So I see questions coming through. We have any questions on that?
Yeah, Jake, I've got one question here. Lori asks, I just adjusted the end date for an inactive student who moved out of the district earlier this month. Just adjusted the end date, but there's no asterisk by the course name. Is there something else I need to do?
Okay, so I mean, we'd have to.
Inactive student, Jake. I don't know if that changes anything here.
So yeah, if it's an inactive student, the student isn't going to appear in your teacher's grade books. We can definitely play around with this just to make sure. But so right here, John Freed's an active student. Let's see here. Who is his teacher? Mr. Earlbeck. All right, I'm going to log into Mr. Earlbeck's JMC teacher account. I got to find him though. Attendance, staff, teachers. Opening a new window. And then I'm going to find Earlbeck so I can log into Mr. Earlbeck's account. So we've got username. Copy that into here. And password. Copy that into here. Okay, so this student should not appear in his bowling class. So that was John Freed. I'm going to look for John Freed. I've got Paul Freed, no John Freed. So he's out of there now. I'm wondering if I can go to my grade book. I should be able to show inactive students in my grade book. Maybe it's not liking it because I don't have any courses, or I'm sorry, any categories or assignments in here. In any event, let's let's try dropping a student then. So we're going to make a student inactive. So let's find another student that's in this class. Francis. Let's go Francis Brenadone. And I'm going to go to the view student data page. There's Francis. And I'm going to make this student inactive. Save. So I'm going to go back into schedules, course, edit course data. I'm going to look up Francis. I'm sorry. Schedules, student, edit schedules. I'm looking at Francis, and Francis is inactive, but there aren't any stars next to it. So this must just be for active students that star would appear. And then Francis should be out of this course. I might have to log out and log back in once they're inactive. It doesn't like that. I don't want to do that either. Oh, heavens. Don't we love it when the guy working the technology struggles with the technology? There we go. Okay, so now if we go to enter attendance, Brenadone. Yep, Brenadone's out of there. So yeah, when they're made inactive, you won't see them in gradebook anymore. And the stars will not appear. So that's just if a student has been withdrawn from an active student has been withdrawn from a course.
Yeah,
That
it's
was a great
it's
question.
kind of cool, Jake, that it actually has two different looks, so that if you do change it on inactive, it still changes it. It just doesn't have the asterisk to show they're an active student.
Sure, sure. And I could see why you would want to note that as well. So any other questions or anything of that nature?
No, that was a really good question. That way to go, Jake, to show that. That's really helpful too, to put it all together for people that are doing this. This is a big time when people are getting ready for second semester here, and if they are going to withdraw somebody. The one thing I just have as a question is, would there ever be, like in your bowling example, there is a 1 credit that you're supposed to have in bowling. So again, what's the difference between having like a half credit attempted, a half credit succeeded, rather than just leaving it as a, maybe they attempt the whole credit and then just get half, then it would show up as a deficiency?
So yeah, so I'm not sure if you can see the bottom of the screen. What we have here are the credits earned versus the credits attempted and the grade point average. So if we get into let's see here, grading transcripts, I'm just going to go to edit student transcripts, and the credits attempted and the credits received are important for calculating a true GPA. So you can see here, I'm going to try to find an actual student that this would impact here. Okay, so for the year, we've got a 1.25. So this student has attempted 1.25 credits and they've earned 1.25 credits. When you're calculating the GPA, it goes off of those credits attempted. So if a student receives a grade and the credit attempted doesn't necessarily match the credit earned, I should say the credit earned doesn't match the credit attempted, the GPA is going to be lower than what it would be if the credit attempted matches the credit earned. I don't know if that made sense or if that was ultra.
Yeah, and I'm glad you got into that, because that's what I was thinking about when you were showing that. And so your example was right on, that if the kid did drop a bowling ball in their foot and had to leave early, you still gave them the half credit. You wouldn't want to punish their GPA, so you'd want those attempted and earned to be zero point 0.5 for each. You wouldn't want one to be 1, because that would affect their GPA, right? So you don't need to punish them for dropping a ball in their toe. You just give them the grade, you give them half the credit, and everything's kosher. But Thanks for explaining that. We've got another question here too from Beth.
Sure.
Okay, what do you recommend for accurately reporting credits grades for a student who has changed sections mid-year? For example, they complete X class with teacher A for quarter one, and quarter two they are in the same course number but with teacher B.
So if it's the same course number, and if you want to chime in on this one, or if anybody else wants to chime in on the response, please do so. If it's the same section, if it's the same course, there shouldn't be a need to override anything. The student would essentially pick up where they left off in the other course. And I know there is a way to transfer scores. If you're going to transfer scores, the teachers have to have their grade books set up identically. Um, if I were to if I were to move a student into a different section, I would just go to schedules, course. I'm sorry, here I go to courses again. Schedules, student, edit schedules, and I would come to this section tab right here, and I would change the section. Make sure you're still in the same semester, but change that to the different teacher. Now, once that's done, any data that is in that teacher's grade book, the original teacher's grade book is going to be lost. So what you're going to want to do is have those teachers communicate with one another, either print out a copy of the progress report or something like that, just so the new teacher knows where the old teacher left off, if that makes sense. So yeah, there would be no reason to override a course grade for something like that.
Yeah, I totally agree, Jake. Well explained. Lori asked another question. If I have a handful of students who are dropping year-long courses at semester break, I want to give them a half credit for what they've completed. How do I give them a grade if the grading scheme is quarter, 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 quarter year?
Okay, so well, let's just take a look here, find an example of that. I would do exactly what we had just done, and then you can go to edit grades. Okay, so let's just say math. So this math course, this 16 math, is a year-long course. We've got quarter, 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 quarter grading. And let's say that this student is going to drop second semester. So we're going to go to the edit student, or I'm sorry, the student section details and overrides. We're going to edit this course. They have only earned 0.5 because they've only taken 0.5. We're going to, sorry, I'm on semester one. I apologize. I got to cancel that. Got to find the right semester. There it is, Sem 2. So I'm going to credits earned. Oh wait, hold on a second. That isn't exactly like that, is it? So if I understand the question right, this course would all be on one line. This would not necessarily be on two separate lines. Is that correct?
Right. Yeah, it's quarter, 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 year, year, 4 quarters in a year grade.
Okay. So I mean it should work the same as a quarter quarter. For example, we should be able to override and enter
Right.
our 0.5 and our 0.5, enter our dates. I'm going to do this wrong. It's probably not going to show up for me because I'm entering a date in the future. It's not going to like this. Or maybe it will. Okay. So now that was this course, and I can come in and manually give the student a grade for the quarter and click save. Make sure I come back to that. Yeah. So, yep, just because if you withdraw a student from the course, that pulls them from the grade book and the attendance. You've overridden the credit. So on the transcripts, the student will only receive the credit that they achieved. And then we entered the grade. And now quarter 4 grade is, they didn't have a quarter 4 grade because we pulled them out. So that should work the same way for a full year class. So
Right. I agree. It shouldn't matter. What you're showing is the same thing. Once you alter that kid's section and details, you just put in the grade you want to give them in one of those quarter spots, in those quarter 1 or quarter 2, and you're changing their credit and you should be good.
Yep. So the only difference is rather than being scheduled for 2 semesters, they were scheduled year long, so it'll all be on the same line. So great.
Well done, Jake.
Any other questions or comments or anything?
I've got nothing for you.
All right. Well,
Those are some great questions, though, guys. Thanks a lot for
Yeah.
people on board today with us asking some awesome questions.
Awesome. So just point out a few webinars that are coming up. Civil rights data collection reporting will be next week. That'll be me again, as well as the 2nd of February. That's Groundhog Day, isn't it?
Believe so.
Let's hope that thing sees its shadow then. Or wait, what's the one that makes winter end sooner?
Is it not seeing or seeing?
I don't know. I swear it's the same length that no matter what that groundhog does. I don't know. Anyway, we've got master schedule building. This would be more for like a high school, middle school setting. We've broken that into 2 parts because it's a pretty complex process. So join us for those 2 dates, and then scheduling substitute teachers to take attendance towards the middle of February. So as always, we can refer a friend through January 2020. That should probably say 2022. And we'll offer a $500 scholarship for your district. Email our sales team for details, sales@jmcinc.com. If you're interested in working with us, we're hiring client service specialists, especially down in Southwest Iowa. That would be fantastic to have somebody that knows the program down there that would be interested in joining the team. You can contact Brett, who's the client service specialist lead, at Brett. Is it just Brett, BRETT?
Yep, Joyce at jmcinc.com.
JOYCE. Yeah. All right. Perfect. So check out our blog at jmcinc.com/news and get social with us on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So that's all we got for you today. Appreciate you joining us today. You folks have a great day.